There's a lot to get excited about when we start looking ahead to this year, second year under Jeff Hafley's defensive schemes in Green Bay. When Hafley came on board in Green Bay, he said, "Hey, listen, we're going to be, creating chaos on a defensive level. Our number one priority and goal is to get takeaways." That's exactly what Jeff Hafley did. The Green Bay Packers were one of the best in the business when it came to getting takeaways, creating turnovers. I'm super excited to see what they can do year two under Hafley's defensive schemes. And there's some talent that this Green Bay Packer defense has. And you start looking at names like Xavier McKinney or Evan Williams. And Evan Williams is going to be a second year sophomore here in Green Bay. Super excited to see what this dude can do year two. Same thing with Edrin Cooper. And then you've got guys like Rashawn Gary and even Kenny Clark. Let's see if this dude can have a bounce back season. A lot to get excited about. But there's an Green Bay Packer unexpected that I think is about to turn heads. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Okay. So when you look at the linebacker core here in Green Bay, Tyron Hopper is one of those guys. So the Packers picked him up in the third round of this last year's draft. Okay. So this is a guy that when you look at him coming out of college, he had an RAS score of, a pretty good RAS score of a 7.42 out of 10. Okay. There's a lot to get excited about when you talk about the athleticism of Tyron Hopper. Seems to be a consistent theme when Gutekunst is looking to the draft, getting guys that can go sideline to sideline. Hopper is one of those guys out of Missouri. We drafted him in the third round. He had great explosive grades. Okay. There's a lot that is there. The ceiling is pretty high for Hopper. Again, he was picked third round, 91st pick overall, and he had a 7.42 RAS score out of a 10. And then you look at the, his grades coming into the NFL, and there are some strengths and weaknesses, and we're going to talk about that. So his strengths is he's long limbed, above average explosiveness. We know this about him coming into the NFL. Speed and trigger downhill and disrupt play design. That's what this dude can do. He loves to blitz. This dude, he sees red when he's out on the football field. He's been quoted as saying, "I see red. I just want to get to the quarterback." And sometimes that's a detriment because he just wants to get to the quarterback so bad that he sometimes he gives up some stuff on the back end when doing that. There's he flies to make plays as a striker, agility and twitch, bounce back to bounce late and find cutting running backs. This dude's got some strengths, and there's also weaknesses. He's slow to keep play development and stay behind the blockers. Hard hitter, but needs to improve his tackle security. Looks lost at times in coverage responsibilities. I think that's why you only saw him playing, I think, 4% of the snaps last year. Okay, so there was a reason for that. And then you look at him and his what did he do with that? Did he sit on the bench, get better, and look at like, okay, well, I sat on the bench, I didn't get my playing time, and then you players respond one of two different ways. They sit there and they get super bitter, kind of lazy, and a woe is me type of mentality. But Hopper, I think, took a different type of mentality. The dude said he was, visualizing. He was watching the game play, and he was visualizing, closing his eyes, thinking through, okay, what would I do in this scenario? What would I do? Hearing Hafley's play calls and just envisioning what he's going to do when he gets the opportunity to go out there and do it. Okay, so a lot to get excited about when it comes to this dude. Okay, so Hafley was saying he's always by the ball, always finishing by the ball, making plays, and he's excited for this upcoming year and what Hopper can do and bring to the football field. So there's a guy that absolutely believes in his playmaking ability and his talent, and that's his former linebackers coach, DJ Smith, former NFL player. He was linebackers coach at Missouri, and he's like, man, he's witnessed what this dude can do on the football field, and he said he's a dude. He's a starter. He's a starter in the NFL. People are going to have to game plan against him. That's how good he's going to be. And if he can get rolling, he's going to be a Pro Bowler. Okay. So we know that somebody that worked really closely with him at Missouri and understands the talent that this dude can bring to the NFL level. And a team like Green Bay under Jeff Hafley and the schemes there, Hafley likes to play fast. He loves to play, you know, to the ball, getting fast down, sideline to sideline, reading the quarterback, creating turnovers. And this is a guy, Tyron Hopper, if you put pressure on the quarterback, he's going to start making mistakes, which is going to create turnovers. Hopper is one of those guys, when you take a look at the depth chart for the Green Bay Packers at the linebacker position, you've got Quay Walker, Isaiah Simmons. Another dude that I'm super excited about is Isaiah Simmons. Really am. This dude is another playmaker that can get sideline to sideline, plays fast. He's super athletic. We already know that about him. And I'm hoping he can find his home here in Green Bay. But you've got Quay Walker, Isaiah Simmons, Edrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, Tyron Hopper. That's a lot of names out there that can create some disrupt. And you look at Isaiah McDuffie, I've already said it before. I think Isaiah McDuffie is not a starting linebacker in the NFL. I think he's a very good backup. He's a guy that you can look to on the bench if somebody gets hurt. You can throw Isaiah McDuffie in there, in different schemes, and he can be productive. But I don't think he's a starting linebacker in this NFL. But you look at Tyron Hopper, somebody that has the playmaking ability and the difference making out there. Isaiah Simmons is another one of those guys, right? So there is going to be a lot of competition. I'm super excited to see what happens in training camp, and then we start looking ahead to preseason. There's going to be a lot of iron sharpening iron in practice and in OTAs and all that stuff. You've got Tyron Hopper, Isaiah Simmons that are going to be giving, I think, Isaiah McDuffie a run for the money, a run for his money when you start looking at the linebacker position and the competition that's there in Green Bay. I want you guys to leave your comments and let me know your thoughts at the linebacker position. We already know that Quay Walker and Edrin Cooper have got their positions solidified. And then you look at Isaiah McDuffie, Tyron Hopper, Isaiah Simmons, like what's going to happen there? Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts about Tyron Hopper. Now, he was a little bit of a disappointment when you look at what he was able to do last year, but you look at the weaknesses of this dude coming, into the NFL. And he's raw when it comes to his vision, and he sometimes gets a little bit too aggressive downfield to get to the quarterback, to where you give up some stuff up on the back end, which can then be a liability to your defense. So it doesn't, it makes complete sense that this dude didn't play a whole lot year one, because he's got a lot of learning to do at that position. And whether or not he gets his shot this year or if it's next year, I think this dude is ready for the challenge. I think he's super eager and excited. He absorbed what Jeff Hafley was play calling last year. I'm excited. I want you guys to leave your comments about Hopper. Are you as big of a believer as I am that this dude can get in there and absolutely make play calls? I think that's why Brian Gutekunst drafted him in the third round. But leave your comments, and as always, go Pack Go.